I'm Brian Van, SportbikeTrackHere.com, and today we're going to install an SC Project conic slip-on on Corey's 2016 BMW S1000RR. Okay, SC Project. This is a line that we don't even have on the website as of filming this. Something we're hoping to add to our catalog in the future, but it's what Corey chose for his BMW S1000RR build. Slip-on. When you look at the 2016 BMW, you'll see that instead of using a giant muffler box under here, right, which most of the bikes are using now, it's more of a pre-cat situation, okay? So replacing only the silencer in this case is a really solid option for this bike. And this is something that Corey's riding primarily on the street. So end of the day, this is going to provide a lot of value. No need to do a full system. Looking at the product itself, when you unpackage this and you start to handle it, the quality is amazing. I would say, when you look at it, I'm going to put this right on par, right in that top tier with Akrapovic, right? And I think that's really saying something. There's some things about this I would go as far as to say I think are even a little bit better, and that is really a bold statement for sure. You look at the welds, right? Absolutely amazing. The carbon is a really cool weave. You can feel the texture of it. It's kind of more of a dry finish. It does come with some decals if you want to put those on the canister. They're not installed, and it comes with a barrel clamp. Weight on this was 3.3 pounds. We're going to enjoy, I'm sure, a nice savings as compared to the stock. One of the most important things you can do when doing this is to make sure you clean it thoroughly before you start the bike. I had Corey do a little research. I had suggested WD-40. His research indicated that was the right thing to clean this with, and that's what we'll use to get my fingerprints off the exhaust before we start it. Now, this is a really basic project. You need a 45 Torx to release the mount. And then we have a 13 mil fastener on the stock clamp. That bolt will get reused. As you remove this, you want to be careful with the swing arm, okay? So I'm kind of, you can see I'm wiggling this up and down. I'm putting a little pressure rearward on this, and it's just about off. Like so. I am pretty sure that we're going to have some serious weight savings here. There's a lot more girth and weight with this piece than there is the SC Project. Before we install this, I do want to put a very thin film of anti-seize inside of the slip-on, right? Not so much that when it gets warm it's going to run down, but just a very thin film. When I come back, we'll have the weight on this. We'll be ready to install the slip-on. Okay, Video Steve just got back from the shipping scale. We're looking at 9.15 pounds for the stock can. 3.3 for this. You can do the math there. That is a considerable savings. I've got a little bit of anti-seize that I've used on some previous jobs. I always save this stuff, right? And you're able to kind of move it forward. You never need the whole tube. It's just a real thin coating, right? You can see I'm just kind of working that around in here. Just the thin film, right? If you put a bunch in there, all that's going to happen is when the bike gets warm, it's just all going to run down and it's going to look nasty on the mid pipe, and you don't want to do that, okay? Go ahead and slide that on. You can see already as you start to slide it over, considerably more attractive than what we were working with initially. Okay, this is a street bike, right? Which means in a perfect world, this will not need to come back off. So I'm going to put just a little bit of blue thread locker on the nut that is supplied. And we're going to reuse the stock fastener here. Put that in the position. Go ahead and thread that through. Put the washer on the back. After looking at that a little bit closer, honestly, I'm going to make an executive decision here, right? And we don't need the washer. It's such a tight fit through there, and you can see that they've used a nut that has serrations on it. It's going to help to hold it tight. Kind of defeat that a little bit if you have the washer in place. So we are going to bypass the washer and go with just the nut, and that's going to go right against that factory bracket there from SC. I'm not going to run this down tight, but I'm just going to get it started. And then we will address the barrel clamp, right? Get that snugged up. This, of course, came with a DB killer, right? An insert. The first thing Corey did was get out a pair of snap ring pliers. He took the insert, right, out, and he discarded it immediately. So if you prefer your bike to be a little quieter, that is available with this. It comes installed, right? But just understand that that is gone. So what you're going to hear when we start this bike is unrestricted, zero baffle, right? You want to kind of get the clamp right to the edge. Something important to note here too is with a barrel clamp like this, there is no need to run this down, crushing the pipe, okay? I'm also going to rotate this so we can hide as much of the threads as you possibly can. Just aesthetically, it's going to look a lot better if you don't see that poking up. So I'm just going to kind of rotate that around a little bit. And then we'll snug everything up. Okay, the barrel clamp is done. Once again, there's no need to really go crazy on that, right? Snug this up. We do have a little bit of blue thread locker on there and also the nut that's supplied, serrated on the back. So it's going to grab onto it and prevent it from coming loose. And if you look at this, there's enough threads with that factory bolt that you come just to the edge of the nut, which is really what you want. So if you look at the thickness of the washer here, I think putting the washer in is actually a negative and not a positive. Now, the most important thing is you want to clean this really, really well before you start the motorcycle, right? You start the bike and have greasy fingerprints on the pipes, what's going to happen is as heat gets into the pipe, it's going to blow into there and you're going to have fingerprints, handprints all over that thing, and it's going to kind of defeat the purpose a little bit. Just a little bit of WD-40. And we'll clean the entire exhaust up with that, right? And once you've cleaned it, you'll then go ahead and get another rag, okay? And you want to wipe it dry. You want to remove as much of the WD as possible before you start it. Okay, there we go. We have Big and Ugly replaced, Small and Sexy. All that's left now is to start it up so we can experience the difference in sound. Remember, the silencer, right, the insert is removed. That is a massive improvement. If you have one of these, right, we didn't start it before we removed the silencer, but these things are dead, quiet, stock. It's lighter, it looks better, and it sounds better. This is our SC Project slip-on install on my man Corey's 2016 BMW S1000RR.